The phone vibrated against Park Jinho's chest pocket at the exact moment the officiant asked if anyone objected to the marriage. He stood at the altar of the Lot Hotel World Towers Sky Ballroom, 40 floors above Seoul, wearing a custom Brioni tuxedo that cost more than most people's cars. Beside him, Min Sora waited in her imported French wedding gown, her face perfectly composed behind delicate lace, every camera in the room trained on them. 400 guests from Korea's most powerful families watched in reverent silence, his father's approving nod from the front row, his mother's satisfied smile. The merger of Park Industries and Min Corporation, finally sealed with marriage vows and champagne toasts. But Jinho couldn't stop staring at the unknown number flashing on his screen through the fabric of his jacket. "Jinho SSI?" Sora whispered, confusion flickering across her professionally made-up face. "What's wrong?" He pulled out the phone. Everyone gasped. Using a phone during your own wedding ceremony was unthinkable. But something in his gut, some primal instinct, told him to answer. Park Jinho speaking. "Mr. Park, this is Dr. Kim from Asan Medical Center, Emergency Department. We have a patient here, Adana Akafer. She's 28 weeks pregnant, and she collapsed outside our facility 30 minutes ago. She's been unconscious since arrival. Your contact information is listed as her emergency contact. We need immediate consent for emergency procedures. Are you the father?" The world tilted sideways. Adana, Anna. His Anna who disappeared 8 months ago without explanation, without goodbye, without giving him a chance to fight for her. The woman who haunted every business meeting, every family dinner, every moment he pretended to be happy about this arranged marriage. Pregnant, 28 weeks. His brain did the math in seconds. She must have been pregnant when she left, carrying his child. Dying while he stood here playing the role of dutiful son. "Mr. Park, sir, we urgently need authorization. She's in critical condition. Where is she?" His voice came out strangled. "Asan Medical Center, Emergency Wing, Trauma Bay 4. But sir, we really need consent for." Jinho dropped the phone. It clattered against marble flooring, the sound impossibly loud in the shocked silence. He looked at Sora, at his parents, at the 400 witnesses to what was supposed to be his perfect, profitable, loveless future. Then he ran. "Park Jinho!" His father's roar echoed through the ballroom. "You get back here right now!" But Jinho was already gone, his dress shoes slipping on polished floors as he sprinted toward the elevator. Behind him, chaos erupted, gasps, shouts, his mother's theatrical wail, Sora's confused sobbing. None of it mattered. Anna was here in Seoul, carrying his child, and she was dying. Quick pause. If you're loving this story, show some love to K-AFRIQUE TV. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and comment where you're watching from. Your support means everything and keeps these powerful stories coming. Now, back to the story. Their story began 9 months earlier in the most unlikely place, a photography workshop in Busan. Jinho had driven 3 hours south to escape Seoul's suffocating expectations, using a fake name to register for a weekend intensive course on documentary photography. It was the one hobby his father called frivolous, which made it the only thing that felt purely his. Anna was the instructor's assistant, a Nigerian photographer who'd been living in Korea for 2 years, documenting the lives of migrant workers in industrial towns most Koreans preferred to ignore. She wore her natural hair in wild curls, paint-stained jeans, and the most genuine smile he'd seen in years. "You're holding the camera wrong," she said in Korean with a thick accent, approaching him during the first practical session. "You're gripping it like you're afraid it'll run away." "Maybe I am afraid," Jinho replied in English, making her laugh. "In English, too. Let me guess, international school kid, probably studied abroad, definitely rich based on that camera equipment." She gestured at his professional-grade Leica. "What's a chaebol heir doing at a weekend workshop in Busan? How do you know I'm? Please, I've been here long enough to recognize the type. Perfect hair, expensive watch you're trying to hide under your sleeve, and that look in your eyes like you're constantly worried someone's watching you." She smiled, taking the edge off her words. "Don't worry, your secret's safe. I don't follow Korean celebrity gossip." It was the most refreshing conversation he'd had in months, maybe years. Over that weekend, Anna taught him to see the world differently. Not through the lens of profit margins and market shares, but through the stories of people his class usually ignored: elderly fish sellers at Jagalchi Market, immigrant workers in shipyards, street vendors weathering winter cold. She showed him beauty in places he'd been taught to overlook. Why photography? He asked on the last day as they reviewed his portfolio over coffee. Because stories matter. Anna's eyes were intense, passionate. Back home in Lagos, I watched people's lives get reduced to statistics. Poverty rates, mortality numbers, economic indicators, but photography gives faces to those numbers, makes people see the humanity they're trained to ignore. She paused. Why are you really here, Jinho? What are you running from? No one had asked him that before. Everyone assumed they knew. He was Park Jinho, heir to Park Industries, born into wealth and power and expectation. But Anna looked at him like he was just a person, and something in his chest cracked open. A life that was planned before I was born, he admitted. I'm supposed to marry someone I don't love next year, take over a company I don't want, smile for cameras and pretend it's all exactly what I dreamed of. And is it? I don't even remember what I dream about anymore. Anna reached across the table and took his hand. Then maybe it's time to start remembering. They exchanged numbers that night. It should have ended there, a brief weekend connection, a moment of freedom before returning to reality. But Jinho couldn't stop thinking about her, about the way she laughed, throwing her head back unself-consciously, about her fierce intelligence and fiercer compassion, about how she made him feel like a person instead of a corporation. He started making excuses to visit Busan. Business meetings that didn't exist, company inspections at facilities that didn't need inspection. Each time he'd spend hours with Anna, exploring the city through her eyes, learning to see beauty he'd been trained to ignore. This is dangerous, Anna said 2 months in, as they sat on Gwanggully Beach watching the sunset. You know it's dangerous, right? Whatever this is between us. I know. Jinho didn't look away from the horizon. My family would never approve. Seoul society would tear us apart. There's an engagement contract already drafted with the Min family. Then we should stop before someone gets hurt. Do you want to stop? Anna was quiet for a long moment. No, God help me, no. He kissed her then, tasting salt air and recklessness and the first real choice he'd made in years. They fell into each other like drowning people grabbing lifelines, desperate and consuming and completely unsustainable. They both knew it couldn't last. They fell in love anyway. For 6 months, they built a secret world. Jinho would tell his family he was managing the Busan facilities, then spend days with Anna in her tiny apartment in Nampodong. She taught him to cook jollof rice that never quite turned out right. He taught her Korean curse words that made her laugh until she cried. They made love in the afternoon with windows open to city sounds, talked until dawn about everything and nothing, created a bubble where class and culture and family expectations didn't exist. Come with me to Lagos, Anna said one morning, wrapped in his arms. Just for a week, meet my family, see where I come from. Anna, I know, impossible, but let me dream for a minute. She turned to face him. In my dreams, you meet my dad who'll interrogate you like a police detective. My mom who'll feed you until you can't move. My little sister who'll mock us mercilessly. And then you'll see that I'm not just some foreign girl you're hiding from your family. I'm a person with roots and history and people who love me. I know you're not just, Jinho stopped, hatting himself. You're right. I've been treating this like a fantasy, like you're not real outside of the hours we steal together. So make me real. Introduce me to your family. The request hung between them, impossible and inevitable. Jinho knew what would happen if he brought Anna home. His parents would react with horror and fury. They'd see her as a threat to carefully laid plans, to the merger marriage that would expand Park Industries into pharmaceutical markets. They'd destroy her to protect him, but he loved her. And love, he was discovering, made you do terrifyingly stupid things. Okay, he heard himself say. Next month we'll do it. I'll tell my parents I'm bringing someone to dinner. We'll make you real. Anna's smile was brilliant and heartbreaking because they both knew he was lying. Next month came and went. Jinho made excuses. His father was traveling. His mother was ill. There was a crucial board meeting he couldn't miss. Anna stopped asking. The silence between them grew heavy with unspoken truth. He was a coward who loved her, but not enough to sacrifice anything. The breaking point came when Anna saw the news article. Park Industries and Min Corporation had formally announced the engagement between their heirs. The article included photos of Jinho and Sara at a charity gala, looking like the perfect power couple, smiling for cameras while his real life happened in secret. Were you ever going to tell me? Anna's voice was eerily calm when she showed him the article on her phone. Or were you just going to keep stringing me along until your wedding day? Anna, please. It's not what it looks like. The engagement is just business. I don't love her. I love you. Then leave her. Tell your family no. Choose me. Her eyes filled with tears. Or stop pretending this is anything more than what it is, a rich man's temporary rebellion before he goes back to his real life. That's not fair. You know how complicated. Complicated? Jinho, love isn't supposed to be this hard. If you have to hide me, if being with me requires so much sacrifice that you can't even imagine it, then maybe your family is right. Maybe we are from different worlds. Don't say that. Then prove me wrong. Anna grabbed her bag. I'm going back to Lagos next week. My visa is expiring and I have a job offer at a photography school in Abuja. Come with me. Or let me meet your family before I go. Or do something that proves I'm more than just your secret. Jinho opened his mouth to promise, to beg, to explain why it wasn't that simple. But the words stuck in his throat, choking him with their weight. Anna waited 10 seconds that felt like hours. Then she walked out. He should have gone after her. Should have chosen her over duty, over family expectations, over the safe and profitable future his parents had planned. But he sat frozen in her apartment, paralyzed by a lifetime of training that taught him his desires mattered less than corporate strategy. When he finally gathered courage to go to her apartment the next day, planning to beg her to stay, to promise he'd tell his family everything, he found the space empty. Furniture gone. Photographs removed from walls. A forwarded mail notice taped to the door with a Lagos address he recognized as her parents' home. She'd left without goodbye, without giving him a chance to choose her, without telling him that she was carrying his child. Jinho spent the next 8 months in a fog. He went through motions, attended engagement parties, smiled for wedding photographers, signed merger contracts. His parents thought he'd finally matured, accepted his responsibilities. They didn't see how he stared at his phone waiting for messages that never came. How he drove to Busan on weekends to photograph empty beaches where they'd watched sunsets. How he was dying inside, piece by piece, preparing to marry a woman he didn't love because he'd been too cowardly to fight for the one he did. Now, as he burst through the emergency room doors still wearing his wedding tuxedo, crushed boutonniere leaving petal trails behind him, only one thought screamed through his mind. He couldn't lose her again. Not like this. Not before telling her he was sorry, that he'd been a coward, that he loved her with every broken piece of his heart. Adana Akafir, he gasped at the emergency desk. Where is she? I'm Park Jinho. I'm her emergency contact. The nurse's eyes widened, recognizing him from news coverage of his wedding, probably. Sir, she's in Trauma Bay 4, but you can't just... I'm the father. His voice cracked. Please, is she alive? Is the baby? A doctor appeared, still in surgical scrubs. Mr. Park, I'm Dr. Lee. Ms. Akafir is stable for now, but she has severe preeclampsia. Her blood pressure is dangerously high. The baby is in distress. What does that mean? It means we need to perform an emergency cesarean section immediately, but she's refusing to sign the consent forms. Dr. Lee's expression was grave. She keeps saying she needs to see you first, that she needs to know you came. Doctor, Lee led Jinho through sterile corridors that smelled of antiseptic and fear. His wedding shoes squeaked against linoleum. Medical staff stared as he passed, the runaway groom still in his. Tuxedo boutonniere crushed against his chest. None of it registered. His entire world had narrowed to the door ahead marked Trauma Bay 4. She's weak, Dr. Lee warned, hand on the door. Don't upset her. Her blood pressure can't take stress right now. Jinho nodded, unable to speak past the terror lodged in his throat. The doctor pushed open the door. Anna lay small and fragile in the hospital bed, her natural curls spread across the pillow, her rich brown skin ashen against white sheets. Monitors beeped around her, tracking vitals that sounded too fast, too irregular. But her eyes, those fierce, intelligent eyes that had seen through every pretense he'd ever built, were open and locked on him the moment he entered. You came, she whispered. I saw the wedding on the news this morning. I wasn't going to call you. I promised myself I wouldn't ruin your perfect day. Her voice broke. But then I collapsed and I thought I might die without you knowing about our baby. Without you meeting your son. Son. Jinho crossed the room in 2 strides, falling to his knees beside her bed. His hands found hers, trembling. Anna, 8 months. You've been carrying my son for 8 months and you didn't tell me. Because you chose them. Tears slipped down her cheeks. You chose your family, your company, your arranged marriage. I wasn't going to trap you with an obligation baby. I wasn't going to be the woman who destroyed your perfect life. Perfect. Jinho laughed bitterly, the sound more like a sob. There's been nothing perfect about my life since you left. Every day without you has been torture. I've been marrying a woman I don't love because I thought I'd lost you forever, because I thought if I couldn't have you, nothing else mattered. You were getting married today, right now. You should be saying vows to Sora, not, I don't want Sora. His voice cracked. I've never wanted Sora, I want you. I've always wanted you. Anna, I love you. I've loved you since that weekend in Busan when you taught me how to see the world again. I love you when I wake up, when I sign contracts I don't care about, when I pretend to smile at engagement parties. You are the only thing that has ever made my life make sense. A contraction hit Anna and she cried out, her body arching. Monitors screamed warnings. Dr. Lee rushed in with nurses. We can't wait any longer, the doctor said urgently. Mr. Park, she needs surgery now. The baby's heart rate is dropping. Anna, please. Jinho gripped her hand like a lifeline. Let them help you. Let them save our son. Promise me something first. Anna's eyes found his through the pain. Promise me you won't let your family take him from me. They have money and power and they'll have to go through me first. Jinho's voice turned to steel. You and our son are my family now. The only family that matters. Anna, I swear on my life, on everything I have, I will never let anyone take him from you, from us. Okay. She squeezed his hand weakly. Okay, I'll sign. They wheeled her toward surgery. Jinho tried to follow, but a nurse stopped him. Family only in the surgical wing. I am family, I'm the father. Sir, you need to wait in. I said I'm the father. Jinho's shout echoed through the corridor. That's my son in there, the woman I love, and I'm not leaving them. Dr. Lee intervened. Let him come, he can wait in the observation room. The surgery felt eternal. Jinho paced the small observation room, still in his ruined tuxedo, watching through glass as surgeons worked on Anna's unconscious form. Every beep of the monitors made his heart stop. Every terse instruction from the surgical team sent panic through his veins. His phone buzzed relentlessly. His father, his mother, Sara, board members, lawyers. He turned it off. Let them think he'd lost his mind. Maybe he had. But for the first time in his life, insanity felt like clarity. It's a boy, Dr. Lee announced through the intercom 40 minutes later. 28 weeks, but he's breathing, small but fighting. Jinho pressed his forehead against the observation glass, tears streaming down his face. And Anna. Stable. The preeclampsia was severe, but we caught it in time. She'll need intensive monitoring, but she's going to be okay. Can I see them? Give us 10 minutes to close up and move them to recovery. Those 10 minutes crawled by. When a nurse finally led him to the NICU, Jinho's legs nearly gave out. In a clear incubator, wrapped in blankets that looked absurdly large on his tiny frame, was his son. 2 pounds, 6 ounces of miracle. Impossibly small fingers curled into fists. A shock of black hair, Anna's nose, his mouth. You can touch him through the ports, the nurse said gently. Talk to him. Bobby's born this early need to hear their parents' voices. Jinho's hands shook as he reached through the incubator openings, his finger finding his son's impossibly small palm. The baby's fingers wrapped around his, the grip surprisingly strong. Hi, Jinho whispered, his voice breaking. I'm your dad. I'm sorry I wasn't there before. I'm sorry I was a coward. But I'm here now and I'm never leaving. I promise you that. He leaned closer, watching his son's chest rise and fall with the help of machines. Your mom is the bravest, most incredible woman I've ever met. You're so lucky to have her. We both are. Jinho. He turned. Anna was being wheeled past the NICU window, still groggy from anesthesia but awake, her eyes searching. Their gazes met through glass and something passed between them. Forgiveness, love, a future neither of them had dared to imagine. He's beautiful, Anna mouthed. Just like his mother, Jinho mouthed back. The peace lasted exactly 4 hours. Jinho was in Anna's recovery room, holding her hand while she slept when his family arrived. His father stormed in with corporate lawyers, his mother trailing behind with a doctor and what looked like a social worker. Security tried to stop them, but Chairman Park wielded influence like a weapon. Have you completely lost your mind? His father's voice could have cut glass. Running out on your wedding, abandoning the Min family at the altar. Do you have any idea what you've done to this company? Lower your voice, Jinho said quietly, not moving from Anna's bedside. She needs to rest. His mother's face twisted with disgust. This is the woman, the foreigner who's been bleeding you for money. Watch your next words very carefully. Jinho's tone was ice. Because once you say them, there's no taking them back. We've brought lawyers, his father continued as if Jinho hadn't spoken, and a family court specialist. Given Ms. Akafr's precarious immigration status and lack of resources, we're prepared to offer full financial support for the child in exchange for custody. Jinho finished. You want to take my son. We want to ensure the child is raised properly, in Korea with Korean values as a park heir. Ms. Akafr is clearly unable to provide. Get out. Jinho stood, placing himself between his parents and Anna's bed. Get out right now before I have security remove you. Jinho, be reasonable. This woman trapped you with a pregnancy. She's probably been planning this from. She didn't tell me she was pregnant. His shout woke Anna, who stirred groggily. She disappeared rather than trap me. She was willing to raise our son alone in poverty rather than force me to choose between her and my family. Does that sound like someone trying to trap a chaebol heir? His mother's expression flickered, maybe doubt, maybe just recalculation. Then what is this, love? You think you can throw away everything for some romantic fantasy? I don't think I know. Jinho's voice was calm now, certain. I love her. I love our son, and I'm done living for your approval. If you choose her, his father said coldly, you lose everything, no company position, no inheritance, no family name, will disown you completely. Then do it. Jinho met his father's eyes without flinching. I'll take my trust fund from grandfather, the one you can't touch. I'll take my shares from the partnerships I've built independently. Anna and I will build a life together. It won't be as wealthy as this one, but it'll be ours. You'll regret this, his mother hissed. When the money runs out and reality sets in, the only thing I regret is not choosing her sooner. Jinho turned his back on them. Now leave, before I file a restraining order. They left with threats and lawyers' cards and promises of future litigation, but they left. And for the first time in his life, Jinho felt free. You didn't have to do that, Anna whispered from the bed, tears streaming down her face. You didn't have to sacrifice everything for. I didn't sacrifice anything. Jinho sat beside her, taking her hand. I chose everything that matters, you, our son, a life where I get to be myself instead of playing a role. He kissed her forehead gently. Anna, I'm so sorry. Sorry I was too afraid before. Sorry I let you leave. Sorry I wasted 8 months we could have spent together. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the baby. Why didn't you? Anna was quiet for a long moment. Because I watched your face that last day when I asked you to choose. You looked like a trapped animal. And I realized that if I told you about the pregnancy, you'd marry me out of obligation. You'd resent me eventually. Our son would grow up watching his father slowly die inside, sacrificing everything for a woman he'd been guilted into staying with. That's not what would have happened. Isn't it? Be honest, Jinho. If I'd told you I was pregnant 8 months ago, would you have chosen me because you loved me, or because you had no choice? The question hung between them, terrible in its honesty. Jinho wanted to lie, to insist he would have fought for her regardless. But they'd built their relationship on truth, and he couldn't start lying now. I don't know, he admitted quietly. 8 months ago, I was still terrified of disappointing my family, still thought I could somehow have both worlds. He looked at her, really looked at her. But Anna, that man is gone. Losing you destroyed something in me. These past months, living without you, pretending to be happy about marrying someone else, it showed me what my life would become if I kept choosing duty over love. An empty shell, a corporate robot, everything my father wanted and nothing I could live with. And now, when the reality hits, when you realize what you've given up, now I realize I've given up nothing that mattered. Jinho smiled, the first genuine smile in 8 months. I've gained everything, a son, a woman who makes me want to be better than I was raised to be, a chance to build something real. We need to name him, Anna said softly. I was thinking. Jinho hesitated. There's a Korean name, Jihoon, it means wisdom and virtue, and for a middle name, Chitty. Anna squeezed his hand. Its Ibo means God exists, because this us him this moment, it feels like a miracle I stopped believing in. Park Jihoon Chitty. Jinho tested the name, feeling how it bridged their worlds. Perfect. Jihoon stayed in the NICU for 8 weeks. 8 weeks of holding vigil, of learning to change tiny diapers and feed through tubes, of watching their premature son fight for every breath. Anna recovered slowly, the preeclampsia leaving her weak but determined. Jinho moved into her hospital room, sleeping in the chair beside her bed, refusing to leave. His family's lawyers came with custody papers. Jinho's lawyers fought back. The battle was ugly, expensive, but ultimately futile. Korean courts favored mothers, and Anna had done nothing wrong except love someone whose family considered her unsuitable. The media circus was relentless. Headlines screamed about the runaway groom and his secret baby. Society matrons clutched pearls. Business shows analyzed the impact on Park Industries stock. Jinho ignored all of it, spending his days in the NICU talking to his son about photography and poetry and all the beautiful things he'd discovered through Anna. "Your grandmother called," Anna said one morning in their 8th week. "You're Halmione, not your mother. What did she want?" "To meet Jihoon." Anna's voice was cautious. "She said she's been trying to reach you, but you blocked everyone's numbers." She sounded kind. Jinho's Halmione arrived the next day, bringing traditional seaweed soup and a hand-embroidered bajagi blanket. She looked at Jihoon through the NICU glass with tears in her ancient eyes. "He has your grandfather's nose," she told Jinho. "The same stubborn set to his mouth." She turned to Anna, speaking careful English. "I'm sorry for my son's behavior and my daughter-in-law's cruelty. They've forgotten what family really means." "With respect, Halmione," Anna said quietly, "they never wanted us to be family." "No, but I do," the old woman smiled. "My husband married me against his family's wishes. I was a school teacher, far beneath their status. They disowned him for 3 years, but we built a life. We built a company from nothing." She touched the NICU glass gently. "That boy deserves to know his great-grandmother, and I deserve to know him." It wasn't reconciliation with his parents. That would take years if it ever came. But it was a beginning. Jihoon came home on a March morning when cherry blossoms were just starting to bloom. 6 pounds now, healthy and loud and perfect. Anna and Jinho brought him to a small apartment in Yongsan that Jinho had rented with his independent savings. Nothing like the luxury he'd grown up in, but warm and full of light and theirs. "Do you miss it?" Anna asked one night as they lay in bed with Jihoon sleeping between them. "Your old life, the money, the status, everything you gave up." Jinho looked at his son's tiny sleeping face, at Anna's hand resting protectively on Jihoon's stomach, at the life they'd built from ashes and courage. "I don't miss anything," he said honestly. "This is everything." But the story wasn't over. It never is. 3 months later, Jinho's father collapsed during a board meeting. Massive heart attack. He survived, but barely, and the experience changed something fundamental. He called Jinho from his hospital bed, voice weak and uncertain. "I want to meet my grandson," Chairman Park said, "before it's too late." The meeting was tense, awkward, full of years of pain that couldn't be erased by one conversation. But when Jinho's father held Jihoon for the first time, something in the old man's face cracked open. "He looks like you did," Chairman Park whispered, "when you were born. Before I turned you into a corporation instead of a son." He looked at Anna. "I owe you an apology, 1,000 apologies. You deserved better from this family." "You owe your son the apology," Anna said firmly. "I'm just collateral damage, but he spent his whole life trying to earn your approval, trying to be enough. He was always enough." Tears ran down the old man's face. "I just couldn't see it." Forgiveness came slowly in small moments. Family dinners where Jinho's mother tried and failed to hide her discomfort. Birthday parties for Jihoon, where Halmione bragged to everyone who'd listen. Business meetings where Chairman Park asked Jinho's opinion instead of issuing orders. And through it all, Jinho and Anna held onto each other. They married in a small ceremony, Anna's family flying in from Lagos, Jinho's Halmione wearing traditional Nigerian dress and dancing at the reception. They built a photography school together, teaching immigrant children to see beauty in their new world. They had another baby, a daughter they named Amara Sujin, who came into the world screaming her displeasure at full volume. "Do you ever wonder what W